Okay, so Karina's question, why do you encourage peer feedback? A lot of books I dislike are successful, so I don't know how much I value feedback.
That's a good question. The idea of peer feedback is that you can only go so far on your own. And before you get to the point where you're trying to get an editor or a publisher or an agent interested in your work, if you're part of a writing group, which I really recommend, and part of any writing community, usually you're there for a reason. The people that are in your group understand what you're trying to do. They have similar values. I mean, to be honest, the easy answer to your question is if you had a writing group made up of people that dislike the same books that you do, you probably have the right group. So ideally, what you want to do is create a group with people that have mostly similar values. You can't all be have the same values, because then the value of the or the benefit of the workshop isn't as high. Sometimes you need healthy debate and solid critiques so that you can improve your work, right? So it can't be, oh, I loved everything you wrote, so congratulations. That's not going to be as useful as somebody who's constructive criticism. So the idea is, when you have your first draft, it's an alpha draft, you get an alpha reader, and you somebody you trust, somebody who understands what you're doing, you maybe somebody who's a writer that you respect, and in your group ideally, and you take all their thoughts, and you don't have to listen to everything when you get feedback, but I bet you they can have something constructive. You then do a complete draft with their feedback and other feedback that you've got from that draft, and then you have a beta draft, and then you get the beta version is what you send out to other readers who are now seeing it kind of closer to completion. So having a team of alpha readers and beta readers is basically describing the two drafts that you have before you, ideally should feel more comfortable showing your work to other people, because it's now gone through two significant drafts. These aren't usually light drafts. They're somebody will tell you this character doesn't work, the story arc is wrong, I didn't like the ending. So they're going to give you challenging feedback that you're going to have to really consider. And I always tell people, if you think you can do a complete revision over a weekend, it's probably not a good revision. The kind of feedback that I think you should be looking for is the kind of work that would take you 3 or 4 months to do before you had a new draft. So I think when you say that you dislike a lot of successful books, you have to focus on the books that you like and find other people that share those aesthetics, that share your sensibilities, so that if they like them, you and them can get along in your little cozy little group. And the idea of these writing groups is just to have a community, so that you can have an audience, have feedback, build a community, have deadlines, so that you're like, oh my god, my writing group meets tomorrow, so I better finish my chapter. So there's huge advantages to having them. Because writing is such a solitary activity, I always tell people it's very hard to write in a vacuum. It's hard to write alone. If you are, though, one of those people that can do it completely on their own without needing a community, you should still, get an alpha reader and a beta reader, because those drafts are still an important part of the evolution of your manuscript. So I don't know if I've answered it completely there, but I think I've kind of addressed your question. If you have a follow-up question, why don't you ask that, because we've got a lot of time.